In my last video, I created two objects. I created a helix and a gear. In this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about their displays and about some of their default properties. This will also allow me to move out of the viewports and start talking about some of these menus that are on the side of my screen, like this one. This is the channel box, and this one. This is the outliner. So first, what you should know is that each viewport has specific display options. You can see each one of them has its own separate set of menus up here. One of those menus is for shading. So, for example, I can move my top viewport into a wireframe view, and now I can see all of the lines that are used to create the mesh of the model. I could also use smooth shading, which is the default. There's a flat shading, which is not going to look terribly different in this case, but would show you a flatter view. And then there are other fun options like wireframe unshaded, which will show me both the wireframe and the shading. And of course, X-ray mode, which will allow me to see through objects. Maybe I will take one of these and move it a little bit so you can see the way that they overlap there. That happens on a per viewport basis, and you can see that this viewport here, the top viewport, is in both wireframe unshaded and X-ray mode, whereas the back view and the side view are not. The fancier shading modes like wireframe unshaded and X-ray must be accessed through this menu, but the other shading modes can be accessed through shortcut keys. The 4 key on my keyboard will move me into wireframe, and the 5 key will move me back into shading. And that's something that I like to do a lot when I'm modeling. 4 will move me into wireframe, 5 will move me into shaded mode. Sometimes it's really nice to be able to see through things, sometimes you just want to see their surfaces. So 4 is wireframe, 5 is shaded. And again, wherever my mouse is, right now my mouse is over the side view, that's the viewport that will be affected. 4, 5, 4, 5. Here's the perspective view, 4, 5. While I'm on the subject of shortcut keys, there are 3 more that you should know about. These act not on viewports, but on objects. So if I have an object selected, and I press the 3 key on my keyboard, that will move it into a mode called Smooth Preview. Smooth Preview is what would happen if I took every face in the model and I bisected it a couple of times to make it appear to be smooth. So I've just smoothed out my helix. The 1 key on my keyboard will move it back into a faceted mode. This mode is really nice because it shows me exactly where all of my modeling components are. So when I move into 3, Smooth Preview, I haven't actually shifted any of my vertices. My vertices are actually still up here. It's just an illusion. There's an illusion that the vertices have kind of shifted and smoothed out. That'll be even more dramatic if I select the gear. This is going to do some really weird things, and again I'll just move that there. I know I haven't talked about the move tool yet, but I will soon. So do you see how now the gear kind of looks like a children's chew toy? 1 mode, 3 mode. Now again, the vertices haven't actually shifted anywhere. They are the same vertices they were before. Now they just appear to be a little bit smoother. You can also see that that is happening in all of my viewports. When I press 1, the gear goes back to normal. When I press 3, it becomes chew toyish. We'll do the same thing with the helix. 3, it smooths out in all the viewports because this happens on a per object basis. And 1, it goes back to normal. So the 4 and 5 keys happen on a viewport basis, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. The 1 and 3 keys happen on a per object basis, 3, 1. The other key you should be aware of is the 2 key. So 1 is normal, 3 is smooth preview. What 2 does is it makes a nest. So the outside of the nest is 1 mode. The inside of the nest is 3 mode, and I like to point this out because it looks really funky. And every year I have a lot of students email me and say, I don't know what happened, but there are these weird lines around my model. It's okay. You're in 2 mode. Just press either 1 or 3, you'll move right out of 2 mode and back into something that looks normal. It's supposed to be a helpful thing because it shows you where your vertices really are while showing you the smooth preview of the model, but honestly it just looks kind of weird, so I generally recommend 1 or 3. Just don't panic if you see those lines. That's the 2 key. While I'm still in the viewports, I'll point something else out. You've probably noticed that I'm spending a lot of time with my Alt key rotating and shifting and zooming around these models. Your next shortcut key is the F key on your keyboard, F for frame. When I press F, my selected object will be framed in my active viewport. So here's my top view. I've got my helix selected. I'm going to press F, and that frames the helix. If I select the gear, I'm still in the top view. I press F, that frames the gear. If I press Shift F, that will frame in all viewports. So that's a pretty quick way to navigate the viewports without having to worry about the camera controls. F to frame and Shift F to frame in all views.